Om Namo Bhagavate Shri Aravindaya. Om Anandamayi. Om Chaitanyamayi. Om Satyamayi. Om Parame. O my beloved Lord, let us be thine integrally. Let Lord's divine peace be with us. Om Peace, Peace, Peace. Prayers and meditations. Lunar, April 19th, 1915. An imperious need has forced me to return to this confidant of my seekings and the efforts of my soul. All external circumstances have changed, giving a flat lie to the dream of the ideal which sought expression even in material activities. The hour has not yet come for joyful realizations in outer physical things. The physical being is plunged once again into the dull, monotonous night from which it wanted to withdraw too hastily. And thy realized will, O Lord of truth, has come to tell the constructing mind, you don't think this is true, and yet it is. The mind has readily recognized that it was mistaken and has surrendered completely to all that thou willest. The vital being is quiet and satisfied in all circumstances. All feeling dwells in an equal and pure peace. The whole being is flooded with thy vast, eternal light. Thy love penetrates and animates it, and yet the impression that outer facts are a falsehood has not been effaced, and the body, despite its indisputable goodwill, is so profoundly shaken that it cannot manage to regain its equilibrium and health. The entire earthly life of this being, from its very beginning to the present moment, gives it the impression of an unreal dream, very remote from it, having almost no further contact with it. All this outer mechanism is now only a machine which it moves, for such is the will of its central reality. But it is no longer interested in it, perhaps sometimes even less than the neighboring mechanism, or even the unknown mechanism that will be the product of the earth of tomorrow. But this earth itself is strange to it, and as it is not aware of anything else except the external silence, all life that has form appears remote and almost unreal to it. It seems strange to it that anyone could desire anything since it does not exist, or prefer one thing to another since neither is there. But at the same time, it does not see why it should object to any action, whatever it may be, Since all actions are equally unreal and it does not feel the necessity to flee from a world which does not exist and cannot be a burden, since its existence is so inexistent. All this gives the feeling of a sort of void full of light, peace, immensity, eluding all form and all definition. It is not the naught, but a naught which is real and can last eternally, for it is, even while having the perfect immensity of that which is not. Poor words which try to say what silence itself cannot express. The condition thus trying to define itself in awkward terms gradually settled in some weeks ago, and every passing day establishes it more definitively, more deeply, more irremediably, so to speak, without having wanted it, sought for it, or desired it. The being sinks deeper and deeper into it, also gradually losing consciousness of itself in a consciousness which is no longer individual and whose immobility is inexpressible, a consciousness from which it is no longer possible to distinguish oneself. The life divine, the Gnostic being 1008. A supramental or Gnostic race of beings would not be a race made according to a single type, molded in a single fixed pattern. For the law of the supermind is unity, fulfilled in diversity, and therefore there would be an infinite diversity in the manifestation of the Gnostic consciousness, although that consciousness would still be one in its basis, in its constitution, in its all revealing and all uniting order. It is evident that the triple status of the supermind would reproduce itself as a principle in this new manifestation. There would be below it and yet belonging to the degrees of the overmind an intuitive gnosis with the souls that had realized these degrees of the ascending consciousness. There would be also at the summit, as the evolution in knowledge proceeded, individual beings who would ascend beyond a supermind formulation and reach from the highest height of supermind to the summits of Unitarian self realization in the body, which must be the last and supreme state of the epiphany of the creation. Sri Aurobindo, The Harmony of Virtue, Conversations of the Dead, Shivaji, Jai Singh, Early Cultural Writings, 1890 to 1910. Jai Singh. Neither of us have prevailed. A third force has entered into the land and takes the fruits of your work. And as for mine, did not work, and I am not amazed by the failure nor discouraged. Jai Singh. I too did not work for my reward, but to uphold the ideal of the Rajput, unflinching courage in honorable warfare, chivalry to friend and foe, a noble loyalty to the sovereign of our choice. This seemed to me the true Indian tradition, preferable even to the unity and predominance of the Hindu races. Therefore, I could not accept your overtures. But I gave you the opportunity to accept my own tradition, and when faith was not kept with me and with you, I saved my honor and assisted your escape. Shivaji. God extended to me his protection and moved the heart of a woman to give me love and aid. Traditions change. The ideal of Rajput has its future, but the mold had to be broken in order that what was temporary in it might pass. Loyalty to the sovereign of my choice is good, but loyalty to the sovereign of my nation's choice, that is better. The monarch is divine by the power of God expressed within him, but he has it because he is the elect of the people. God in the nation is the deity of which the monarch is the servant. Vitova Virat of Marathas, Bhavani incarnate as India. In their strength I conquered. Jai Singh. Your political ideal was great, but your standard of means was abhorrent to our morality. Ruse, treachery, pillage, assassination, these were not excluded from your action. Shivaji. Not for myself fought and ruled, but for God and the Maharashtra Dharma, the religion of Hindu nationality, which Ramdas enunciated. I offered my head to Bhavani, and she bade me keep it to scheme and plot for the welfare of the nation. I gave my kingdom to Ramdas, and he made me take it back as a gift from God and the Marathas. Both commands I obeyed. I slew when God commanded. I plundered because He pointed out that as the means He had given me. Treacherous I was not, but I helped my weakness in resource and numbers by ruse and stratagem. Conquered physical force by keenness of wit and brain force. The world has accepted ruse in war and politics, and the chivalrous openness of the Rajput is not owned either by the European or the Asiatic nations. Jai Singh. I held the Dharma as supreme, and even the voice of God could not persuade me to abandon it. Shivaji. I gave up all to him and did not keep even the Dharma. His will was my religion, for he was my captain and I his soldier. That was my loyalty, not to Aurangzeb, not to a code of morals, but to God who sent me. Jai Singh. He sends us all, but for different purposes, and according to the purpose, He molds the ideal and the character. I am not grieved that the Mughal has fallen. Had he deserved to retain sovereignty, he could not have lost it. But even when he ceased to deserve, I kept my faith, my service, my loyalty. It was not for me to dispute the will of my emperor. God who appointed him might judge him. It was not my office. Shivaji. God also appoints the man who rebels and refuses to prolong unjust authority by acquiescence. He is not always on the side of power. Sometimes he manifests as the deliverer. Jai Singh. Let him come down himself then as he promised. Then alone would rebellion be justified. Shivaji. But whence will he come down when he is here already in our hearts? Because I saw him there. Therefore was I strong enough to carry out my mission. Jai Singh. Where is the seal upon your work? The pledge of his authority? Shivaji. I undermined an empire and it has not been rebuilt. I created a nation and it has not yet perished. Circa 1910. Glory to Sri Aurobindo's Gayatri. May that supreme incomparable light which effects the good of the knowers and removes the darkness in my adversity from head to foot, may the ultimate beneficence shine constant. The great sage Sri Aurobindo has built the happy way for the devoted knowers. Sky-head with his higher radiances, he reigns on earth his luminous station. The range of the noble sight of the sage is like the speeding of the horses of the thousand-rayed sun, encircling from all sides the heavens and the endless stellar regions. He soars like a bird without a stop. Blessed is it for men to be born today on the continent of pure Bharat. Here glows presently the supreme light for the fulfillment of those who seek the highest. O swan in the lotus of the heart that has blossomed with the touch of the hand of Ramana, thy Lord is now approaching. Be awake, O carrier, be ready to carry him. Victorious in the ways of conquest in the universe, himself the eye of the world in the mode of discipline, the very sap in the ways of love. He is not touched by the notion of emergence, even in the way of merger. My inner world is ever steeped in the upper waters of the Lord of the universe. If this earthly body be subjected to unbearable stress, what matters it? Agni Kastava. Reading words of Sri Aurobindo and the Mother on soul and how to find it. The realization of the psychic being, its awakening and bringing of it in front depend mainly on the extent to which one can develop a personal relation with the divine. A relation of bhakti, love, reliance, self giving, rejection of the insistences of the separating and self asserting mental, vital, and physical ego. True bhakti for God or for the Guru is quite different from mental or vital bhakti. In the mind, one may have admiration or appreciation for the intellectual greatness of the man or Guru, but it is merely mental. It does not carry the matter very far. Of course, there is no harm in having that also, but by itself it does not open the whole of the inner being. It only establishes a mental contact. Psychic bhakti does not make any demand, makes no reservation. It is satisfied with its own existence. The psychic being knows how to obey the truth in the right way. It gives itself up truly to God or to Guru. And because it can give itself up truly, therefore it can also receive truly. The psychic being emerges slowly in most men, even after taking up sadhana. There is so much in the mind and vital that has to change and readjust itself before the psychic can be entirely free. One has to wait till the necessary process has gone far enough before it can burst its age long veil and come in front to control the nature. Each time there is a purification of the outer nature, it becomes more possible for the inner being to reveal itself. Within means itself a considerable progress in sadhana, and it must be prepared by various means such as the experiences you have been having. Keep steadfast in confidence, therefore, and all that has to be done will be done. Shri Aurobindo. Om Namo Bhagavate Shri Arvindaya. Thank you, Mother. Thank you, Lord. Thanks for each one of you. Your presence is a really a very special gathering. So I thank each one of you, and it's a thread from Aurobindo. Greetings from Aurobindo.